Sword Islands is an up-and-coming VR project that is inspired by your favorite VR RPGs and animes. Sword Islands is not an MMO, but emphasizes on the co-op experiences of up to 4 players with unique blade arts and swordplay in this beautiful RPG experience. Let's dive into what makes Sword Islands VR the next VR RPG you should be looking to play. Sword Islands is made by a solo developer that has been working on Sword Islands for about 3 years, whose dreams have always been to start his very own tech company. Although there is only one developer working on the game, there has been many other people who have dedicated their time and resources to help in the journey and the goals of the developer. So, let's get into what we are all here for, and that's the world of Sword Islands. As quoted from the Kickstarter, which is now available at the time of this video, the digital worlds mirror our reality but exists beyond our immediate perception, separated by an electronic barrier. To engage with it, humans rely on devices for input and output. Unlike our tangible reality, the digital world is made out of data that has been visualized using computer algorithms. In the modern age, our engagement with digital worlds has surged dramatically, leading to an overwhelming influx of data, which then resulted in the Shattering, an event that changed everything we knew about the digital world. Your task as a player is straightforward. Dive into the digital world using your VR headset, explore the aftermath of the Shattering, and then set on a journey to reverse the tide of chaos. Sword Islands VR is made to be explored with a minimalist style, offering hints, item descriptions, and carefully crafted spaces that will convey the narrative. NPCs you interact with will also provide you pieces to the puzzle. Sword Islands will feature several different gameplay mechanics that will make this an RPG to stand out. First is the combat system. Combat is fairly simple and easy in this game, as you are basically going to be wielding a sword and shield a good bit of the time. You'll be able to block with your shield, but the emphasis on parrying will be a huge part of the combat itself. Using your strategic mind and reflexes to deflect your enemy's strikes, causing them to become staggered and cause more damage to them. When it comes to your trusty sword, there will be a system called blade arts. Blade arts are used with a specific pose that can unleash a powerful attack. This is where the fun in VR begins. Striking a pose will physically have to be done and adds to the immersion of this RPG. The affinities are basically magic powers that are attached to your sword in order to unleash those powerful attacks. There are 5 affinities which seem to resemble the power of nature, as they are earth, flame, frost, light, and shadow, each providing their own unique animation and damage to be dealt on your enemies. Enemies will be full of variety and each will have their own way to attack you. Some enemies will be close ranged and on the ground. Others will come at you from the air and prefer attacking at range. You must be prepared for any situation when it comes to fighting your opponents. Sword Islands will also include bosses that can be split into 2 different types at the moment. The Guardians, which can be waiting at the end of dungeons for you, and world bosses, which can be a bit tougher and found roaming around the island for you to battle. Sword Islands VR wouldn't be called an RPG if it wasn't for some of the elements that we know and love, which make up the classic bits of a role-playing game. Players will be able to gather attribute points in order to customize their character to their liking, as we will be able to place points in various ways to build a unique character to interact with the world. Talent, aura, and resistance are just some to mention. We will also be able to select different armaments, which is basically types of weapons that allow us to fight in different styles. Katanas, greatswords, axes, and halberds are just to name a few things that we can wield in this amazing world. Traversal in the vast world of Sword Islands VR is also pretty cool. We will have a full-blown climbing system that allows us to scale certain things in our environment. Note that not everything will be climbable, but what I really do like here is that the developer is working very hard to have a smooth climbing system that will allow us to even propel ourselves onto ledges and high spots above you. If you are looking to go further and move even quicker, there is also going to be a gliding system which allows you to whip out a glider and move across the map while taking to the skies. These seem to be fairly smooth and a great way to scout out your territory too. Sword Islands VR will also include some extracurricular activities, so when you are done questing or just need a break from the world, you'll be able to take part in some fishing. Fishing is also twofold, as it allows you to collect ingredients for an in-depth cooking system.
That was very quick.
Cooking in this game reminds me a lot of Breath of the Wild, as you must put together combos of ingredients in order to create meals. Each meal can help you along in your adventure by creating boosts or healing aspects to yourself after eating them. This whole game is brought to you seamlessly by advanced user interfaces that are by far the best that I've seen in VR RPGs in a long time. The developer is from a software development background, so their passion for UI is top-notch. Trying to keep the UI as simple and sleek as possible is one of their priorities, and it really shows the love and attention that was put into it. Sword Islands VR is asking for your help in order to get this game out to the public. As I mentioned before, the game is now on Kickstarter, and a little bit from each and every one of you in the VR community would go a really long way. There are several rewards that you can get for contributing, such as a copy of the game, your name in the game credits, and also even in-game cosmetics that are uniquely to backers only. There's also a ton of stretch goals which will add to the quality of life of the game. Classes, weapons, environments, NPC voices, and even a MetaQuest port are all amazing things to add into the game as long as the goals are met. So, that is just a little bit of Sword Islands VR, the next VR RPG that will take us all by surprise and change how the genre is played in virtual reality. Make sure to follow all the links down in the description below, follow Sword Island VR's socials, and join their Discord for all new information, and of course, if you have a few extra pennies to spare, support their Kickstarter. Thank y'all so much for watching, and we will see you in the next video.